Alright YouTube, I am back again and getting ready for the next phase here. This is my shiitake block that has been in the fridge since about 2 p.m. The day before yesterday. Lykyn's website says to go 48 hours in the fridge, so I'm extending that a little bit from my last video just to make sure we get most of that 48 hours, if not all of it. In the meantime, what I am doing, it's important to note that all water that I'm using for this project is filtered water. I use a zero water filter and a glass container, so no plastic contaminants in there. The main thing you want to keep out though is your chlorine. And also with shiitake blocks, it's all about shocking the block into thinking the weather's changing and getting cold. So what I'm going to do now is prep a very cold soak for that log. And once I have enough water that is cold to soak it, I will pull it out, cut it out of the bag, and start the soak process. The way I'm going to do this here is I have a giant reservoir on top of this, so I am going to fill it with ice and then start filtering the water down through here until this is cold and I can see it sweating from the cold temperature. And at that time I'm going to soak my shiitake block, and I will be back once I have the water ready. Alright guys, so I've got my ice in here. So first step I'm going to do is start pumping the water out of here that is already filtered but not cold, as I want this water to be as cold as humanly possible. So I'm just going to take this water out in a pitcher and redistribute it back up here through the ice. As the ice melts and cools the water, this whole water tank should be full of very cold water for a cold soak. And once that happens, I'll be right back. Alright, and we are back. I've just pulled out the shiitake cube from my fridge. I have full distilled and filtered water that is cold and ready for this final soak before we finally get to use our Lykyn fruiting chamber. The next step is that you literally need to slap each side of your shiitake cube just like this. They say that simulates the shiitake log falling off of a tree and stimulates the mushrooms to begin their growing process. Okay, and now we are ready to soak our shiitake block. So I am going to cut into the bag at the top. I am going to use this pot for soaking. And now I'm going to just fill this pot up with water and begin soaking. This soaking process is going to take place for the next 3 to 4 hours as recommended by Lykyn. So once we get this thing soaked, we're going to drain it, let the water drain off, and then we'll be ready to put it in the Lykyn, and we'll prep our lion's mane as well at the same time. living and learning here, and shiitake mushrooms take a lot of preparation before you're ready to go into the Lykyn, so just be aware if you're trying to do something similar with timing. Alright, and be back soon. Alright guys, back again, and finally time to use our Lykyn grow chamber. The next step I'm going to do basically is I already put water in this thing, so I am going to gently take this lid off and take the middle tray out and wipe everything down with rubbing alcohol. It needs to be at least 70% to disinfect. So I'm just going to wipe down the entire inside very quickly with some rubbing alcohol to disinfect it and make sure it's a nice, clean, sterile environment for our mushrooms. And then we will start placing our items in here and hope the app works. Alright guys, so I have drained the water off of my shiitake block and let the excess water drain off so nothing's dripping, nothing's going to get into my unit. I'm looking for the most brown sides here, and I want to put that side up, so down we go, just like that. Alright. And basically I just took the top off here and the middle shelf out, wiped everything down. Yes, Husky. Alright. And then the next step is put this guy back in so we can create our second shelf. Just like that. And remember, we filled up the water reservoir in our previous video, so that's good to go. Alright, and now to prep the lion's mane. And then check out the app and see how that works. Alright guys, so this is our lion's mane block. First thing I'm going to do is once again sterilize here. I'm just using some rubbing alcohol and a paper towel. And we're going to make our cut on this side, so where I make that cut, I just want to make sure that any bacteria that got on here in shipping or in processing is gone. Don't want any contamination. So just giving this a quick rub down and giving it the best chance for survival. Alright, and the next step is we need to sterilize our knife and get ready to cut it once that alcohol dries. Alright, so once again, you just get a knife and a lighter. Sterilize real quick. Let that cool for just a second. It's just a wipe down to make sure it's dry of rubbing alcohol. And then it says about 1 inch X. So we're going to cut about 1 inch, just barely scraping the mycelium in there. Alright, that is good to go, and so much easier than shiitake. So, now I'm going to take this to our fruiting chamber. Alright, so this goes on the top shelf. Excuse me, losing my voice in allergy season. And it does say when you cut on the side here like this, you want to push it towards the back, with the back, well, actually the opening towards the front, and the back that's not open towards your power cord, which is back there. Okay, so everything is placed in there now. Time to put the lid back on and see how this works. Okay, so lid is back on. Power is plugged in. You can see we've got our shiitake down there. It looks lot whiter than it did before I did the soak, so hopefully it's brown enough. Hopefully that's just it being wet, but it looks like it's, I think pinning is the right term, so I think it's going to be okay. All right, and then from here we just take our light and place it up top, and it doesn't need to be attached or anything, so I'm just going to put that kind of in the center. All right, and now I'm going to turn off the camera and use the app and try and turn this sucker on. I will say that the app has been fairly easy to use so far. All I've done is just hook it up via Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. It took a few tries on the Wi-Fi, but it connected finally, so hopefully it's still connected, and I'll be right back, and hopefully this thing's going to be on and working. Okay, finally we are underway here. I did have to move this thing. Apparently the USB cord that comes with it, which is a bit shorter than I needed for my original positioning, is the only one that works with this thing. At least the alternate USB cord that I tried did not give it power. But once I finally got it powered on with the original cord, it's plugged in via just USB. It did kick online, and I can confirm the humidity is coming out. I'm not sure if you can see this, but it is flowing. So yeah, we're underway, guys. And I guess I will keep you guys updated as this goes forward, and we'll see what comes of this. Hopefully lots of mushrooms. All right, talk to you soon.